Okay, quick little story time, y'all. This just happened. I almost went to jail and my phone broke. So let me give y'all the backstory. My brother, he is 15 years old. So yesterday, he went out the house. Me and my mom couldn't find him. So he had my other iPhone, which is the iPhone I'm on right now, right? So off this phone, I tracked that iPhone to find out where he was at. And he was in this building behind my house, right? So my mom went over there like, get out the building. Come to find out, he was over there with like 6 boys and 2 girls. So my mama mad because she like, why is you in this building with these 2 girls and it's nothing but boys? That don't look right. So she looking around. They punch holes in the wall. They had food all over the floor. They were charging their phones and everything. Mind y'all, they wasn't supposed to be in the building. The building belonged to the rent people. They went in that building and broke the lock and got in. So now my mama heated. She like, you ain't finna get me put out. You ain't finna get me put out. So after that, police got called. He ran. He never come home. He came home 7 o'clock this morning. My mama want to be all nice and let him in. So we go get a COVID test. After the COVID test, we went to the food line because I'm finna cook some breakfast. Let me show y'all the breakfast I was finna cook. Some sausages, some orange juice. I also make some French toast and stuff. So I tell my brother, help me out. I'm finna cook breakfast. I need you to take the trash out. He's talking, no, man, I ain't finna do none of that shit. So now you getting rude. So now I say something smart back. You is finna do that because I'm finna cook you some breakfast. You can help me out? He wanna walk up and push me. Oh, okay. So what I did was push him back. He wanna fight. I dragged him down them stairs. And we started fighting in the hallway. My mama ran up, broke up the fight. Okay. I go in my mama's car, to cool down, to get my head, off everything. My mama come back out the door to my, we finna get him. I'm like, what's going on? She like, he broke your phone. So I'm thinking, he just talking like he go break my phone or whatever. We walk around looking for him. We couldn't find him. I go through the back of the house. I found my phone on the ground. Like this. Oh, now I'm heated. He text my mama phone to my, he finna call the police because I hit him. I did more. So the police pull up. You think I'm scared of the police? I walked right past them 3 police cars and told him to come out that motherfucking door because I'm finna whoop his ass. The police like, calm down before we lock you up. I'm gonna give you 2 warnings. First of all, I don't care about your warnings. And don't tell him to step in the street. My mama said, go home before they lock you up. Go home.
I'm 24 and I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 years now. We grew up together as neighbors and were friends for a couple years before dating. I love him so much and I want to marry him. His family is great and I adore them all, and he's great with my family too. He also formed a great relationship with my younger sister who's 21. The issue is that I think their bond is too close. My boyfriend and I live together, but he spends a lot of time with her. Albeit, I am sort of busy. I'm currently in grad school for engineering, so I have to go to my classes. My boyfriend works full time. My sister is currently taking a gap year, but that 1 year has extended from when she was 18. She comes over when I'm in seminars and classes. They have tons of inside jokes and share the same sense of humor and taste in movies. It makes me feel left out, but when I try to include myself, they both stop being so enthusiastic and act like it's super awkward to have me there. My sister and I were close growing up, but started drifting when I went to uni. When my boyfriend isn't there and I talk to her, she becomes kind of cold and sometimes says rude things. Once she told me to my face that I'm not good enough for him and that he deserves better, which made me cry for a couple days. He also gets her gifts for the most random achievements, like he got her a present for making it through the week, even though she doesn't even do anything. She currently isn't working or trying to pursue a hobby or interest. She's just taking it easy, in her own words. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad my boyfriend and sister are friends, but my major problem is that my boyfriend tells her everything. Literally everything. He tells her things that he doesn't tell me and talks to her about me and our relationship. She knows all of our issues and good parts to a level of detail that I wouldn't even tell my closest friends or parents. She even knows the grades I got on my midterms and finals and what I think about my manager. I work part-time to contribute to our apartment, but also get paid for my research, which goes towards our needs as well, which I feel is unnecessary for her to know since I didn't tell her myself. I asked him to step back a bit and stop telling her things about me and our relationship, but he was shocked and told me that I'm an asshole for even requesting it. Now I feel guilty, so am I the asshole? I set up nanny cams in hidden spots in our bedroom and living room area in our apartment. Today happens to be my birthday and I just turned 25. D, my closest friend, wanted to take me on a day trip yesterday. My boyfriend agreed and said that we'd do something the next day on my actual birthday. I told him that I'd be out from 8 in the morning and I'd be home by 8 or 9 p.m. Dee took me out, but she noticed I was feeling a bit off. I was still thinking about something shady going on between my boyfriend and my sister. I ended up spilling everything while we were eating lunch. Dee was outraged on my behalf and agreed that something was off. She asked if I wanted to cut our day short and drop back home to see if anything was happening, and convinced me by saying that it's better to find out today than tomorrow. I realized we could have checked the nanny cams, but for some reason we forgot about them in the heat of the moment. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't check because I would have started ugly crying in public. I'm guessing most of you know what happened. We drove back home around 4 p.m. I caught them literally in the act. Why were they doing it at 4 p.m.? I don't even know. I just kind of stood there with my arms folded and I hope I had a badass resting bitch face. Although maybe it was more like trying not to cry face. My boyfriend gave me a whole "it was an accident" spiel. I just ignored him and started packing my things. Thank God our lease was up for renewal within a month. He begged me and eventually yelled at me for packing up. The funny thing is, I bought most of the furniture and supplies. So, me being slightly petty, packed as much as I could. Dee helped me and we loaded everything up in her car. We left some stuff I couldn't fit, but I'll go back for that later. The whole time, my sister was sitting stoically wrapped up in a robe on my couch. We went back to Dee's house and I had a breakdown. Dee, the angel that she is, provided me with ice cream and fuzzy blankets. My boyfriend spammed me with calls and texts ringing from "I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, it was only one time," to "it wasn't my fault, you should have been around more." We decided to check the recordings and lo and behold, it was definitely not just once. I'm really sad that my sister, who used to bake me cupcakes and do karaoke with me, could betray me like this. My boyfriend, well, he was my first, and in hindsight, he didn't really contribute much anyways. Currently, I've been staying with my friend and I've blocked both my ex-BF and my ex-sister. To be honest, it's a huge weight off my back and I know that this won't affect me forever.
I had a first date planned for Friday. I took a nap so that I would be all rested and fresh. I showered. I did my hair. I looked good. And then I sat in a restaurant for a half hour waiting for him, and he never showed up. He then called me 2 hours later to let me know that his dad was in the hospital. And then he called me after that to tell me that his dad wasn't actually in the hospital and that he lied. He then proceeded to leave me about 5 or 6 additional voicemails. I would like to present them to you now.
And it's Brad again. So it's been an hour, and I haven't really heard from you, which I don't think is very cool. I talked to my friends, and they said I should have heard something from you by now. I know you're busy with work and everything like that, but, I just basically spilled my guts to you and, was super honest with you, and I just don't think that it's fair that you're not calling me back. It's just not cool,
Not cool.
I'm starting to rethink things, and
What?
I don't know. If I don't hear from you in the next 30 minutes, I'm sorry. I just don't think it's going to work out. I wanted to call and apologize. I'm super sorry. I just get really upset sometimes. I just haven't been treated very well over the years, and you said you were different. I thought you were different, and I just get a little upset when I feel like somebody's not being honest with me after I've been honest with them, because I was honest with you, so I was going to hope you were honest with me. But I still haven't heard from you. It's been a little bit. It's been a few hours, and I just feel like you could respect the situation and me.
I could.
You call me back, but like I said, I just wanted to apologize. I didn't mean to yell, and that's not who I am. Just give me a call, and so we can reschedule everything. And once we do, I can explain to you what type of person I am and how honest I am, and just cool and calm and all that fun stuff. So I look forward to talking to you and rescheduling another date with you. So, I'll talk to you soon.
Nothing says I'm cool and calm like I'm cool and calm. I'm the coolest, and I am the calmest. I think this one's my favorite. It's the piece de resistance.
Why haven't you called me back?
I don't know.
How did somebody do that to somebody else? I told you that this has happened in the past. You said you weren't going to do it. You said it happened to you, and it happened to me. That's why we got along so well. I have left several messages spilling my heart to you. All I'm asking for is a call back, and we could go on a date. I could treat you really nice. I really can. I just don't understand girls like you. I thought you were different.
I am the same as every other girl. Frightened for my life. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. But wait, there's more.
Hi, I was just thinking, please do not put any of my information on TikTok. Like I said, I'm kind of a sensitive guy. I'm a private guy. And just please, whatever you do not put this on TikTok.
I would never. That is the last thing that I would ever do. But after you screamed at me and you, stood me up and the, 7 voicemails, I forgot.
I would hate, to have legal get involved. Just please, just don't do it. Just be smart and just don't do it, okay?
He's threatening me!
All right, call me back. I still haven't heard from you.
He's threatening me with legal action, and yet he still wants me to call him back. Oh my God! I can't. I have always been someone who, low-key, didn't mind a bad date because I love a good story. And the level of crazy that I am immersed in right now with this man who will not stop leaving me voicemails is just... I should be frightened. I should be very scared for my safety, and yet I am also so amused. And as someone who's in radio, this is comedic gold. I couldn't ask for something better. I couldn't make this up if I tried. It is just, I've got the voicemail to end all voicemails. I kind of don't want it to ever stop. I'm gonna play it tomorrow morning on my morning show. Yeah, I'm gonna make you guys listen because I just started there and I need people to follow me. Is it a cheap ploy? Mm-hmm. Is it gonna be worth it? Yes. I'll give you a hint. The voicemail is from his mother. He had his mother call me. She seems delightful. I almost completely forgot. If I'm going to exploit my personal life for professional gain, I should really tell you what time to listen tomorrow and where. 7:10 tomorrow morning on Hot 93.3. You can listen online at hot933hits.com. Please follow the station and me on Instagram. Okay, bye.
Famous birthdays fucking ruined my life today. And yes, the fucking website. Basically, I was supposed to sign a lease today, okay? And I finally found an apartment. It's so hard to fucking find one as a freelancer. And basically, I was supposed to walk in. I'm about to sign the lease, and he goes, I have some bad news. I was like, what the fuck is it this time? What the fuck is it this time? And he's like, basically, I Googled your name yesterday, and something called Famous Birthdays popped up. I didn't know that you had a social media account. It says that you're a TikTok star, and to my knowledge, there's someone called Jake Paul and Bryce Hall. First of all, I hate that rhymes. And he's like, and basically, they both got themselves into a lot of trouble with the neighborhood because of, they're social media stars. They do a lot of partying and stuff like that. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to give you that lease because I don't want you to do the same things that they did. And I don't want to get into any kind of legal trouble. Are you fucking kidding me? Jake Paul and Bryce Hall and Famous Birthdays? That's what ruined my chances at signing a fucking lease? Really? Ugh.
Put a finger down if you and your girlfriend decide to go out for a cute little date night. So you find a spot you've never been to before, you get there, the vibes are good, everything's great, and then things start to go a little bit south. When the waitress comes over and she's like, oh my God, you guys are so cute, how long have you been together? So you tell her and she's like, oh. She's like, not for long at all. And you're like, did I hear that shit right? But you know what? I let it go in one ear and right out the other. Because it is not enough to ruin my night. And then, in the middle of us ordering appetizers, she literally grabs Grace's hand like they're at the goddamn altar and she's like, wow, I love your rings. They're so cute. Wow, your hands are so big. And starts comparing hand sizes with my girlfriend right in front of me. I'm fucking fuming at this point. Grace is uncomfortable. She's not saying anything because she's not confrontational, but you know what? I am confrontational. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, okay, we hit rock bottom, okay? Because we're eating dinner. And Grace's tea is dwindling, and so is my patience. So the waitress comes over, she fills up Grace's tea glass, and purposely spills the tea all over Grace's lap! Ah! And she insists on cleaning up the spill on her lap, and I'm literally like, oh girl, we gotta go! Bring us the check, I've had enough, enough is enough. And then she brings the bill over. And sure as shit, we check the bill, and on the back of it, it says, your girl doesn't need to know. With her phone number! Oh, so we're gonna give her a little ring.
My last semester at a certain college, I was assaulted by a football player for walking where he was trying to drive. No, he was 325 pounds, I was 120 pounds. While unconscious on the ground, I lived a different life. I met a wonderful young lady. She made my heart skip and my face red. I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married and almost immediately she bore me a daughter. I had a great job and my wife didn't have to work outside of the house. When my daughter was 2, my wife bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and doted on him and my daughter. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I saw that too and I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at that effing lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me, but by this time my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took our kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp is not real. The house is not real. My wife, my kids, none of that is real. The last 10 years of my life are not effing real. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises and I became aware of pain. A shit ton of pain. The first words I said were, "I'm missing teeth," and opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out and I was completely confused. At some point a cop scooped me up, walked me across the sidewalk and grass and threw me face down in the back of a cop car. I was still confused. He took me to the hospital and I got CT scans and stuff. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression. I was grieving the loss of my wife and children and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared that I was going insane as I would cry myself to sleep hoping I would see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I see my son, usually just a glimpse out of my peripheral vision. He's perpetually 5 years old and I can never hear what he says.
My mom always struggled with death. She had a weak immune system and often got so sick that I had to help her to the toilet and wash her body. I was basically her nurse, while my dad always got home late, saying he was working long hours to put food on the table. But I knew he was lying. Back when I was a child, he often took me to his friend, who also had kids. They sat us in front of the TV while Dad and the woman went to another room and locked the door. Of course I was curious and sometimes listened at the door, but back then I was too young to understand that my dad was cheating on my mom. But now I was older, so once my mom had recovered, I finally told her, "I know Dad is cheating on you. You have to dump him and find someone better. Don't worry, he just goes drinking with his friends after work." "No, he's not. Instead of taking care of you, he prefers sleeping with other women. Doesn't that bother you?" Well, my mom was in denial. I guess she loved Dad too much. But maybe I could open her eyes if I showed her evidence of his unfaithfulness. It wasn't too hard. All I had to do was stand behind him and watch the pattern he used to unlock his phone. At night, I crawled on my knees to his nightstand, took the phone, rolled under the bed, and checked his messages. Turns out my dad is a huge creep. He had a group chat with his buddies where they took photos of random women on the street so they could rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. It was so disgusting. But then I hit the jackpot. Just 1 hour ago, he had received an SMS saying, "See you again tomorrow, my bad boy. Heart, 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 heart." Then I waited for breakfast and told Mom. I went through Dad's phone last night and found a woman sending him messages. "Liar! No one believes you." "Oh, really? Why don't you show Mom some of your SMS?" My dad didn't hesitate, and I realized that he had already deleted the message. I felt like an idiot. And of course my mom didn't believe me without evidence. But now my dad was seriously angry. "You should feel ashamed of yourself, spreading lies just to get attention." "I don't care what you think. You aren't my dad anymore. I hope you die." That's when he took my laptop and broke it in half. He wanted to scare me, but it didn't work. He was cheating on my mom, and there was no excuse for that. So the next morning, I pretended to go to school early, but actually hid in the back of my dad's car. First, he drove to work like always. There, I had to lie in the freezing cold for 8 hours before he finally drove somewhere else. He left the car, and I took a look outside. Dad was going into a house I'd never seen before. Soon after I followed him, there was only one window with the lights on. When I looked through, I saw Dad sitting on a chair. Then a woman came inside wearing a short dress and sat down on his lap. The woman was at least 15 years younger than him. It was gross. And when they started kissing, I started a video chat with my mom. She said, "Where are you? I've been so worried." "Mom, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you something." "What happened? Tell me." "I'm fine. But I followed Dad and caught him with another woman." "Oh, don't worry. Just come home and we will talk about it. Okay, but first, I want to show it to you. I held the camera to the window and filmed my dad betraying Mom. She kept watching it for another 30 minutes, and so did I. Afterward, I went home and saw Mom putting Dad's stuff into boxes. When he opened the door, Mom told him, "It's over, you pig." But Dad didn't argue. He took his stuff and left, probably going back to the younger woman. I thought things would get better afterward, but life became even more miserable. We barely had any money, and Mom got sick again. We were about to be evicted from our house when Mom told me, "Call your dad. He might come back and help us." I hated the idea, but understood we had no other option. "Hey, sorry for calling, but Mom is sick and ran out of money. We would be grateful if you came back to support us." Well, my dad might not be perfect, but he moved back in with us the same day and paid off my mom's debt. He even hired a helper for Mom. But right from the start, I wondered why she was so beautiful. My dad said she was a college student in need for money. But why couldn't he hire an old lady with nursing experience? Well, the girl did her job and took care of my mom. But Dad constantly hit on her, and she always flirted back, even if my mom was in the same room. It must have been painful for her to see them getting along so well. But she depended on my dad, so he could do whatever he wanted. When I got my report card, Dad took a look at it and freaked out. "Why are you such a bad student?" "Huh? You've never cared about my grades before, so what's the big deal now?" "Oh, I'll send you to a 2-month summer camp as punishment." "Ah, now it makes sense. You want me to go away so you can get on with Mom's caretaker. You think I'm stupid?" "Oh, now you start lying again. Don't you remember where it led last time?" Wow, my dad was threatening me to behave or he would leave Mom again. I can't tell you how bad summer camp was. I made no friends and spent 8 weeks all by my own, reading the same book over and over again. When I got back home, Dad had some bad news for me. He said Mom had suffered a strong fever and permanently lost her vision. I immediately ran to her bed and hugged her. I couldn't understand why she was so unlucky. To make things worse, Dad told her, "I love you, and I will always make sure you're fine. But I have desires, and I'm not interested in a relationship with you anymore. I want to date other women. Maybe marry a new wife." Mom was speechless and stayed quiet. Meanwhile, I screamed, "You jerk! Just because Mom is blind and depends on you, you think you can get away with anything." "Life is complicated, and you're too young to understand it. I love your mom, and I'm well aware of my responsibilities." Mom had tears running down her cheeks. She said, "It's okay. Do what is best for you." And then she went back to bed, crying herself to sleep. The next day I walked into the kitchen. I saw my dad making out with a caretaker girl. I was shocked because she was wearing nothing but a bikini. Things got worse when Mom came to make herself breakfast. Dad and his new girlfriend continued kissing each other even though Mom was right next to them. It was absolutely disgusting. I said, "Mom, you have to move out and find a new guy." "But I'm blind and always sick. No one wants me." "That's not true. You just have to search. There are many guys who would love to have a compassionate wife like you, and maybe you can date a blind guy." But my mom was too afraid of change and continued her miserable life with Dad. I recently graduated college and moved out. Now my mom is all on her own.
I told my girlfriend to kill herself and she did. Remorse. We had been dating for 3 years and she was like my best friend. My first impression was that she was this cute girl who was really fearless and her life was perfect and nothing bothered her. Turns out she was and still is the most unstable person I've ever met in my life. There was a point where she was constantly calling me crying about something that had upset her. Like she found one roach in her new apartment, or because exams were killing her and she's stupid, or because her friends cancelled on her or her father isn't listening to her again. Each and every time she called, I would drop everything I was doing and go help her. It got to a point where I was often sacrificing important matters. One time I even left a job interview for a really good company because she was having a body dysmorphia breakdown. Her mental breakdowns eventually overshadowed all the good times and I found myself centering all my decisions and time on her. Friends and family started saying this was toxic and she was dragging me down, so I finally broke up with her in person and comforted her for an entire 5 hours after. Just sitting there holding her while she cried. She had begged me to stay and promised she'd get better and that she needed me. That's what kills me every time. After a few weeks of not talking, I tried contacting her just in case she needed help, but she stopped answering my calls. She called me while I was in a class seminar and I got so mad for some reason because everyone could hear my phone ringing and my professor was giving me the murder eye. I got madder than usual. Almost freaking lost it and ended up telling her to fuck off. That's seriously what I said. And then she started crying and told me she was going to kill herself because she's hurting and me thinking about all the she's manipulative and toxic drift my family and friends were on. I just told her, well do it then, and hung up and went back to class. I don't know why I said those things. I was just really angry and annoyed, but after a few hours, I was okay and tried calling her back to apologize, but she didn't answer. Then I found out from a friend that she killed herself the next day. I think about it every single day and it's literally eating me up inside. I quit college, I'm addicted to stuff that I probably shouldn't even say on here, and no one wants to be around me anymore. I feel like a fucking murderer. Sometimes all I needed to do was there for her and maybe she wouldn't have done it. Or at least not be an ass and tell her to do it. The funny thing is everyone thinks I did her some good and that it's so beautiful that the love of her life was the last one to talk to her. I keep thinking that maybe if I hadn't been the last one, maybe she'd still be alive. I'm crying now. I'm sorry, Macy.